All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this. We are going over inside days. You can have reversals in an inside day, you can have trends from an inside day. But the most important thing to remember is that you need to get specific on what you're looking for. Inside days offer dump coil pumps, inside days offer pump coil dumps. But what setup are you taking? Okay, so today we're just going to talk about the pump, coil, and dump. Now, with this setup, you're going to have two variations. You're going to have the reversal, or you can have a trend. So some people, because it may confuse them or it may be a little overwhelming, you can choose to take inside day pump coil dumps, reversal trades, or trend trades, or you can look for both. Me personally, I like to go off of closing breakout signals. However, it's the same. We're looking for the same thing. Ultimately, we're looking for the pump coil dump. It's just what signal are you following? Now, inside days can be part of a 3-day setup. Most of the time, they are. Okay. So you're going to have a day where it may be going up. That's your day one. All right. You get an up day. Then you get an inside day. All right. So it ends as an inside day just for you to false break and maybe head back down. So you can have day one where it's a pump day two where it's an inside day, and then day three where it reverses back to the other side of the range. That is the reversal setup. All right. So let me show you what a trend looks like. You can have a day where, let's say, you get the pump day, right? Boom. Then you get an inside day. And then it may end somewhere like this. And then you get a day where it breaks the low, pulls back, and trends. So if this was day two, this line that I'm making right here, it's ugly, but it will pull back and it'll trend from the previous day's low. So let me just show you exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to scroll down. And okay, so this example right here is a reversal trade, right? So like as I stated before, this would be your day one, pump day. This would be your day two, inside day. Inside day is when the previous day's high and the previous day's low set the boundaries for day two, meaning that day two's high and day two's low is inside the previous day's range. So not only does it has to close inside, but the boundaries of that day has to close inside the previous day's boundaries. Okay, that's what an inside day is. So the next day, on day three, you're looking for either the reversal trade, pump coil dump, or you're looking for the trend trade. In this case, on day three, it was the reversal trade from the high. So let's look and see what it looks like if it was a trend trade for a pump coil dump. In this example, you have a day where it may be trending down. And then this is day one. So on day two, remember, it's a day that closes inside the previous day's range. So if this is the previous day's high and this is the previous day's low, it's inside of it, the boundaries. So the next day we breach the low, we pump back up, coil and dump. That is the trend trade, right, for the inside day. So this is day one, this is day two, and this is day three. So most of the time you're going to see inside days as part of a 3-day setup. And that's usually when I look for them. Okay. So also you can have double inside days. You can have a day where this closes as an inside day, and then this may stay in the range for an explosive move on day four. So you can look for those variations as well, but it's just important for you to know, are you looking for this or are you looking for this? You got to get really specific, because these trades happen a lot, but people are going to the charts and they're taking both setups, dump coil pump, pump coil dump, and not knowing that there are two variations of one setup. So then if you do a dump coil pump and a pump coil dump and you take inside day signals, guess what? You're trying to look for four variations, right? Because it's a reversal and it's a trend trade. So just be mindful of that. You want to make this as simple as possible. So now I'm going to go to the chart so we can scout some out and we can just see what these look like on the chart. So let me go to the chart. Let me actually hide this screen share again, window, and let's go to again, guys. My indicator is now public. So if you want this indicator, it is on my WAP in my bio. You will find it. All right. I just updated it. There's a lot of cool things in here. But let's take a look and find some inside days. Okay. So we're on German 40. Inside days don't happen a lot, but they do happen. So we don't see any on German. Let's go to US 30. I'm pretty sure US 30 had an inside day recently. Scroll out. Let's take a look here. Okay. Oh, I know what it is. I got it turned off. Okay, so let me go to my indicator. Settings. All right, let's turn inside days on. Let's just look and see if we have some. They should pop up. There they are. All right. So in this example, right now, if you haven't watched my weekly template video, I highly suggest watching that, because that is going to clear a lot of things up. That is the foundation of this, right? So I would watch the weekly template video, but let's get into this right here, right? So as you can see, we have an inside day on Wednesday. So these blue lines right here are the boundaries for these are my daily levels. So here would be my daily high. You just can't see it, but if I move this black line, that's my previous day's high and previous day's low. So as you can see, we had a day that false broke the low, hit the floor, and then proceeded to close inside of that previous day. So we have an inside day because this high and this low, if we look at this day, it's inside of the previous day, right? We had a nice pump from the floor, and then we had a day that closed inside of this range. So the next day, we get the reversal trade. Why? Because look at what happened. So the thing we want to see is it fail the high, right? If we're looking for the reversal, we're looking for the reversal back down from this uptrend to a downtrend. So all I'm doing is I'm marking my high. This is my high of day. This is my low of day. Let's see. This is US 30. So I'm trading this in New York. So if I know that this is an inside day and I know that we have a uptrend, currently we're in an uptrend, right? And I'm looking for a pump coil dump. All I'm doing is looking and seeing, okay, is it going to fail the high? Are we going to reverse back to the bottom of the range? We have plenty of space. So on the day, now this is the hour time frame. Mind you, it doesn't matter what time frame it's on. It does not matter. I don't take trades off the 1 hour. I take trades off of the 15 minutes. So we're going to go down to the 15-minute time frame so we can see what this looks like. All right. So remember, if I'm up high like this and we're in an uptrend and I'm trying to take a pump coil dump, I need to see the move down, a reversal at the high. So once I mark my low and once I mark my high, look what happens. Now, we don't get this until the third hour of London, but remember, I'm trading this in New York. So I'm seeing the story. So, and London, we make a lower low. We've already been making lower lows on the day, which is that's how the pump coil dump starts. So we get lower lows. In London, we get a lower low, and then we pump all the way back up to the high of day. We don't get to the previous day's high, but remember, I'm either selling the high of day or I'm going to sell the previous high of day. All right. So just keep that in mind. Now we pump all the way up to the high of day, and then we immediately start reversing and coiling at the previous weekly high. So I'm already getting my criteria. My entry criteria is the lower low will start the move. Lower low, pump, coil, dump. So I already have my move. By the time New York comes, I'm on the back side. That is important to know that. I'm looking for it to go to the high and show me the reversal. It's shown me the reversal. I'm already on the back side. So all I need is a lower low to start my move because at this time, we are just, we're getting into the trend. So again, we make a lower low. So let me go down to a smaller time frame, 5 minute. I don't go no lower than the 5 minute. Look at this. All I'm doing is marking my most recent high and my most recent low. Okay. So as you can see, when we break out of this, that is considered a lower low. Lower low, pump, coil. Look where we're testing. We're making this support resistance. So as we make the lower low, we pump back up, we coil, right? And then we dump. This is like a mini trap and shift. Please, if y'all are following me, like the video. I don't want to keep going if nobody gets it. If my members are in here, drop something. How are y'all doing? I don't know if there's any new members in here, but just to make sure that we're following each other, just let me know something. But we get the lower low, we pump up, we coil from the retest, and we dump. Also, we're below the EMA. So as soon as I see this is 8:30, I'm in there, okay? I'm in there. So all I'm doing is literally following the trend. I'm already have my pump, already have my coil. I'm just looking for the dump. By the time I get to New York, we're already in line with the trend. We're already in line. All I'm doing is catching lower low, pump, coil, dump. This is the retest entry. Look how many pips you get. So as long as you know your setup, ooh, guys, I was on the wrong one this whole time. Same thing. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Same thing as this, though. We're already in line with the trend. So by this time, right, we get lower lows. The lower lows start my move. At this time, it's 9:30. Am I taking the trade? No, I'm not taking the trade. This is my most recent high. This low was created by this swing high. Boom. Mark that. That's important. Look what happens. This is our most recent high. This is my most recent low, 9:30. We pump up to the high. Then we get a nice doji candle and we start to fall. This is my entry, if I'm being quite honest. So I'd put a entry in here. This would be my stop loss. This would be, I usually go for 1 to 3s. So I would have gotten out somewhere around here. But after this, I see this doji candle after we pump to the high. You're just looking for a pop up, guys. If you're already in line with the trend, you're looking for a pop up. You need to pump first. Then you need a coil. This doji is nothing but a coil on a 1 minute on a 1 minute time frame. Then you get your dump, lower low. Once I see this lower low, we pump back up again and we engulf at the high again. Second entry. Second entry. I'm not scared of this because look what happened. We get a lower low. So pump, coil, dump. Look what happens again. We make another lower low and we retest the low. That can be another entry depending on what you're comfortable with. But nonetheless, I'm in a downtrend. I'm respecting my lower highs. So I'm going to take the trade. Go for a 1 to 3 minimum. Minimum, these trades are going to give you a 1 to 3. That's it right there. So in this example, we get the reversal at the high. We're just catching the dump. We're catching the dump. Look how far this runs, all the way to the bottom of the range, right? So this is what you guys can look for. Pump, coil, dump. So let's look for another one. That is a dump, coil, pump one. Okay, here's one right here. So look at this. This is that week where it was just ranging. Okay, so we have an inside day on Monday, right? We got a day that has pumped up and then closed back in the inside. So what am I doing? It's Monday. Monday is inside of Friday's range. Draw it across. All I'm doing, okay, I got an inside day. What am I looking for? I trade New York. So I need to see, I'm not trading the inside day until one of these are breached. A lot of people want to diddle in the middle. I don't do that. Think about it. An inside day within, it's a day within a previous day's range. It's basically consolidation. So I don't want to make a move until I know for a fact that one of these levels are breached. Look what happens right before the session. This low, well, first off, we breached the previous day's low in Asia. We're making lower lows. So London pumps up to closing price. And remember, when we're at closing price acts as resistance. So it pumps up to closing price. It starts coiling, putting in lower lows on the inside, and you get that sell for London. You sell at closing price and you get back to the low minimum. That's your TP. Look what happens right before this happens. Look, lower low. Lower lows will start your trade. Wait for that. So when we get the lower low, we pump back up. We're pumping up. Then we start to coil. Mind you, I'm waiting until after 9:30. Look how big this manipulation wick is. By the way, guys, if you want my indicator, this liquidity marker right here, it marks when the previous day's high or the high of day is swept. So you would have gotten this marker right as at the close of this candle. This is a sell marker, okay? So if you are interested in my indicator, the link is in my bio. But nonetheless, you get the lower low, you start pumping up. That's what we want. Then you sweep the high of day. Boom. You start to coil. Wait for it. Wait for that. So when you get the lower low, you pump up, you coil, look where you're at, closing price, and then you get an engulfing candle. Entry. Entry. You can't cheat the stop loss. This isn't the best entry on the 5 minute. You wouldn't have been able to get a lot of pips. However, this is still a trade. It depends on what you're looking for. Even if I went to the 1 minute, when I go to the 1 minute chart, it's just for better RR. It's for more range. I'm not reading candles. Yes, I would like the indicator, please. Hi, how you doing, Anthony? Thank you for being a member. I'm going to go ahead and drop my indicator right for you. Give me 1 second. Products. Oh, wow, you can see my give me 1 second. It's loading. Okay. So, oh, here it is. Copy. Okay, let's go back to here. Glad you're doing great. Okay. So to continue, again, lower low, pump, coil, dump, minimum target where the pump started. Okay. So boom, that's an inside day signal, pump, coil, dump. Let's see if we can find more. Let's go to SPX. Let's see what we got there. Okay, let's scroll back a little bit. Here we are. We have one. This is the same trade. And you know what the beautiful thing is about indexes? They all kind of do the same thing. They all kind of do the same thing. Sometimes it looks different, but look, Friday, then you close inside of Friday's range. Look at how this happened. So I'm marking, we're inside of Friday's range, right? Marking the high, marking the low. Indexes, they all kind of do the same thing, but they're not always similar as far as the pattern. But these are my boundaries for the inside day. Again, just like US 30, we breached the low. Lower low, pump, coil, dump in London. All right. So by the time New York opens up, guess what it does? Lower low, pumps up to closing price. And guess what you get? An engulfment. So this would have been a better entry for me on SPX because you have more range. And usually when I'm taking these trades on indexes, I have both. I have SPX, I have NAS, German 40, and US 30 up. And I'm literally seeing which one looks the best. That's why they tell you to have a basket of instruments. You need to have a basket because you need to be comfortable taking these trades. So if you're like, you're on a pair and you're like asking yourself questions and you're not sure and you're telling yourself maybe this, maybe that, switch the pair. You want this to stand out. So I clearly get a lower low. I'm pumping up. I engulf at closing price. Enter. Don't hesitate. Minimum target where the pump started. End your day happy. That's it. Even look at this. Look at this. Even if you wanted to wait, right, for the retest, remember, this is nothing but an uptrend turning to a downtrend. That's literally what a pump coil dump is. So when you break structure, draw it across, you get the retest, then the engulfment, and then you continue back to the low, right? So depends on what you're looking for. Either way, let's see what the RR on this. Not much RR, but honestly, come on. One, like basically 1 to 2. You can't be mad at that. So you just want to get used to pulling money out the markets. Pull money out the markets. Don't say, oh, maybe it'll go here, maybe it'll go there. When you're starting off with this concept, 50 pips and dip, pips and dip, pips and dip. That's all you want to do. You want to get paid. That's what smart money traders do. They just want to get paid at the end of the day. So this was a nice, clean setup for an inside day. Let's see if we see any more on SPX. We have one right here. Cool. Okay. So Friday, we get a nice dump day for expansion day on Thursday. Sorry. We get an expansion day on Thursday. It makes a lower low and then it starts pulling back and it closes back inside the range. So listen to this right here. Okay. So this was the inside day, right? Oh, wait, I can't do this, y'all. That was a dump and pump. Let's find a pump and dump. Dump and pump. Okay, here's oh, that's not okay, this one, we can do this one. Okay, here is an inside day. We had a day that pumped up and closed here. So the next day, this range is inside of Thursday's range, which closes as an inside day. So the next day, we immediately break the inside day's low, lower lows. Okay. That's what starts our trade. So when we get a lower low on London, I'm marking this. Mark your lower lows, mark your higher lows. That is key. Now, this is a trend trade. We breached the previous day's low, which was the inside day's low. We continue to make lower lows. Even London gives you a nice trade. Lower low, pump, coil at the weekly low. So not only do we break the previous day's low, we break the weekly low and we pump, coil, and dump off of it. So then when I get to New York session and I see this, I'm not thinking, "Oh, it's going to reverse." I'm thinking we're well past the previous day's low. We're continuing to make lower lows. So when we see this pop up, 2, 3, I'm looking for the sell. And all I'm doing is marking my most recent high here. Actually, it's here. And my most recent low. This high was formed by this swing low. Are we working the high or are we working the low? That's the first question that you need to ask yourself. Are we working the high or the low? Secondly, I need to see this uptrend reverse, right? I'm taking the trend trade, but if I'm going up, then I need to see this uptrend break, right? So I can see that we went higher high, higher low, fail, engulf. So boom, we break structure, draw it across. After we break structure, we make a lower low in the inside of this pump. Lower low, pump, coil. What time is this? 9 a.m. Dump. Boom. So it doesn't give you a big trade, but it gives you just enough to make money. That's what you're looking for. Pump, coil, dump. So it's all about taking your setup. What are you looking for? As I keep telling you, it's the same thing. So let's go to German 40. Maybe German 40 has some inside days. They don't happen all the time. Again, most of the time I'm taking either closing breakouts, but when I see an inside day, I do trade it at times. I just don't take it a lot because it doesn't happen a lot, not as often. So even on German 40, here we have one right here. This one is a tricky one, but I'm glad I'm showing you guys this because there's going to be days where it's going to be choppy or confusing. All right. So as you can see, we're already in a market that's breaking down, right? So even just looking at the previous day, we break the low and make a lower low. This is it. Oh, see, I keep doing that, y'all. I don't want to show y'all the pump coil, the dump coil pump yet. I got to show y'all the pump coil dump, not the dump coil pump. Inside day. Nope, this isn't one. But I will show you guys this though. So this previous day right here on Thursday, it closed as an inside day. This was Wednesday's range and it closed inside of Wednesday's range. So this closed as an inside day. Now I want you guys to look at something because a lot of people do this. A lot of people do this. I do not trade inside the range. Notice that it did give you a pump coil dump, but by the time you come to New York session, it's already pretty much at the bottom, right? That's not what you want. You want this trade to breach the level first. It didn't even breach the level until towards the end of New York session, about 10 a.m. And even when it did, it just reversed. This is why you don't trade inside days inside the range. Wait until it breaches the level because you will get yourself in a situation. Wait until these levels are breached because then you'll see the real story. That's when all time frames are in the market. So if you're trading an inside day, right, and you're still inside the range, I highly suggest that. I highly suggest against that. Let's see if we can find one on GBP USD. Oh, we have an inside day. Okay, here's one. All right. So we get an inside day on Wednesday. You have a day that false broke the low and closed back inside. And then you have a day where you pump up, right? But you're still in the inside of this range. So the boundaries for the inside day close inside. The next day, you're looking for a pump coil dump. Now, would I take this trade? No, because I'm still inside the range. I like to wait for a breach of the previous day's level. However, we are at closing price. That is the only time that I will trade an inside day in the inside. It needs to be at a level for me. Other than that, I'm not trading. I'm not trading it at all. So, because this is at closing price, you can take it back down to the low. That's the thing about trading in the inside. People just think they can trade in the inside. No. You just need to be at closing price. If you're not at closing price trading in the inside, then you're diddling. You're just diddling. But here, right? I'm making lower lows. I've literally switched from an uptrend to a downtrend. Boom, I've broken structure here. Draw that across. When you break structure, always draw that across. So, because I know I've broken structure and made a lower low, I pump back up. Asia pumps up, and we hit the closing price, which is now acting as a level of resistance. Lower lows in the inside of this pump back up, we're coiling, right? So with Forex pairs, I'm looking from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. At the first 35 to 45 minutes of New York session, it gives you the trade. You're already at closing price. You're up high. And even if you wanted to keep it simple, right? This is your most recent high. This is your most recent low. Look what's happening. At closing price, we were in an uptrend. After making these lower lows, we started trending up and then we fail. Boom, we make a lower low here. So this is your starter entry, but then we make a lower low and we pump back up to retest the structure that we broken. Not only that, but when we broke structure externally, because this is internal structure, right? If we're talking about just basic market structure. But when we break structure here and start the actual downtrend, we pump back up. And remember, a pump and dump is nothing but an uptrend turning to a downtrend. That's the easiest way I can piece it together in my head. When we hit this closing price, then we make a lower low and we pump back up and retest where structure is broken, just as we did here. Hopefully, y'all can see that. But literally, that's all that I'm doing. Waiting for breaks of structure to start my move to get the lower low. We pump back up, retest, and continue. Trend trade, reversal trade. Trend trade, reversal trade. When you're looking for trend trades, you need to see a retest. It either needs to retest or it needs to respect these highs. But when you're looking for the reversal, you're looking for an area of resistance where it's failing. It's failing at the high. So that's what I would look for. Also, like I said, make sure you're drawing these across when you break structure. I'm going to look at one more pair. Let's go to NAS. Are my members good? Remember, if you have any questions, drop them. I'm going to go live publicly. Um, so I know that this live is only for my members, but I am going to go live publicly probably next week. Okay, I got an inside day, but I'm seeing a lot of dump coil pumps from the inside days. So for these inside days, it's all about patience. As you can see, if I scroll out, guys, you don't get a lot of them. You probably get more of them on the Forex pairs. Let's go to Euro USD. I think that this is great for people to see because a lot of people can't decide on which one they want to follow. It's hard for them to find a setup. This is one. It's showing resistance at closing price, but by the time you get to New York, you'll have to take the trend trade. But let me just point this out anyways, because remember, if you're in the inside, you're not trading until you get to a level. The only level that I'm going to trade from if I'm in the inside is closing price, right? So in London, we hit closing price. You need to be able to see it though. So I highly suggest that if you are not good with inside days, then or trading inside and waiting for it to hit closing price, I highly suggest you stay away from it. However, I will break this down. So you get a day that has closed as a close and breakout down. So the next day you get an inside day, meaning the boundaries of this are inside of the previous day's range. So the next day, what am I doing? I'm looking for a pump coil dump, right? So in this, right, we're literally trading down. We're making lower highs and lower lows. So in the inside day, we make this lower low and then we pump back up. In London, we coil at closing price and then we proceed to make lower highs and lower lows again. So by the time New York opens up, all I'm doing is marking my most recent high and my most recent low. Now, me just following this, right? Okay, I know that we've hit closing price. I know that we're making lower highs and lower lows and lower highs and lower lows. However, I see that this breakup structure, right? But the way that I know that this is going to fail, this potential uptrend, right? Because we broke in structure, draw that across. I don't care what it does. I'm drawing the breakout level across because that is how you know what price is going to do. Price only does three things: breakout, pullback, trend, breakout, fail, reverse, and breakout in range. We broke out, we pulled back, we failed, and we reversed. Remember, price only does three things. So when you break structure, always draw that across. You mark your high, your most recent high, you mark your most recent low before New York session. We're literally working the high. A lot of the times you're going to find these trades within the first hour. All right. But as I said, we coil at the high and then we proceed to break structure again downwards. Now look what we have: lower low. We pump back up. We retest 1, 2, 3, drop. It's literally that simple. So if I'm in the inside, I am only trading from closing price. Only. And lower lows start your move. Lower low starts the move. All right. So even look here. Look, you breached a low here, previous day's low, pump, coil, dump. Boom. So I'd highly suggest stretching your breakout levels across, because when Stacey always says price only does three things, I tell people this all the time. It always goes over people's head, but it really does. And you understand that by marking your swing highs and your swing lows. So I hope this helped, guys. This was inside days, pump coil dumps, reversals or trend trades. Either way, the process still stays the same. You're looking for the same things every time you come to the chart, 2 to 3 trades max a week, and you're only taking one signal. It could be two variations, trends, or reversals, but stick to one setup. One setup will definitely keep you profitable. It'll keep you disciplined and it'll keep you profitable. That's the most important part, right? We all want to make money. And this is a business. It's not a game, it's not a hobby. You actually have to put time into this. So you can watch this video over again after I get off this live. I will drop this video. Or, like I said, I have other inside day videos on my channel. I don't know if you guys follow Inside Days, but if any one of my members do, just to summarize this video again, you're looking for days, right? Where it's an inside day. It's literally you looking for this, right? You got an inside day, a day that closes inside of the previous day's range. So then we look what happens here. This is Euro USD. We break the previous day's low. Lower low, pump. Look where we're at. Closing previous day's low, coil, dump. Lower low, pump, coil, dump. That's all I'm doing. The lower low, start your move. So in this case, we have a trend trade. So when you get to New York, we're putting in lower lows, pump, engulfing candle. We engulf. So even here, right? All I'm doing is looking for this. I'm looking for this. I want to see a lower low, and then I need to see a pump up to the high, and either a pen hammer, an engulfing, a coil. Don't care. I'm taking it. Take the engulfing. This is a nice sell down. Very nice sell down. So you actually get trades in all 3 sessions. Asia really did it. However, you get 3 opportunities in this day, actually. So these are my favorite when you're waiting for price to break and then pump up for the trend trade. That is my favorite setup from the inside day. Or you get days where the other one is the reversal where you're making higher highs and higher lows. And then we break the previous day's high, pull back, fail, reverse, lower low, boom. I really like those ones too. So my suggestion, just to end this off, look for this one or look for this one. Either way, they all work. And also, if you are at closing price, because we have 3 levels to look for, right? Again, if you're at closing price, you need to be looking for this one. Boom. That's the only way that I'll trade in the inside. All right, guys. So I hope that this helped. Again, if you need more attention, I have a Discord where you can join. Link is in my bio. Also, the indicator, the link is in my bio on my WAP. And then if you need one-on-one sessions with me, those are also on my WAP. Links, again, are in my bio. I hope that this gave you guys some clarity. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, guys.